All right, welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. This is our Chat and Chow edition. It's been a while since we've been here, and it's just because we have so much going on. And now it's time to share some of that information with you, the things that we got going on, and why we've been away for a little while. So, I'm Tony Demakis from Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales, and we're your home for all things mold maintenance and repair, whether that's polishing, laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner manifold cleaning. Um, you name it. If it has to do with mold maintenance and repair, we'll do it for you. The only thing we don't do is build molds, because that's your job. And speaking of building molds, today I am back with my good friend Hillary Coombs, and I'm gonna bring her in real quick. There's Hillary. Let's unmute you. Unmute. Hey, friend.
Hey, hi.
It's been a hot minute.
I know.
It's been a hot minute, but it's good to be back. It's good to be doing this again. I just feel like things have been so busy for so many people in a good way, right? But
Yes.
just busy.
Yep.
So what's going on in your neck of the woods? I like the new background where we can see the shop going on in the background there. I'm waiting for your dad to come up, and
I did put there, you can't see it, but there's a note that says, please be appropriate. Um,
that doesn't attract him to do it even worse.
no, he's actually on vacation, so I don't have to worry about
Oh,
him, but
good.
he's definitely passed those same things on. So,
That's a plus. Where'd you
but
go
yeah,
on
I thought
vacation?
I thought I'd take you guys to the shop today so you can kind of see a little bit of the activity. Um, but yeah, he's in New Hampshire. He takes off usually on the weekends. This is his half retirement concept where he gets to
Yeah.
take off for long weekends.
I have a father that's doing the exact same thing.
But yeah,
He's usually my dad usually works Tuesday through Thursday.
oh well, I get a lot more out of him than your dad. But
Really?
I think he's got a few more years left to give.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my dad's got plenty to give still, but I think he's getting to that point where he's kind of tired of the same thing every day.
And I think one of the biggest things that we talk about is in order to be sustainable and actually pass the torch, you have to leave. You'll
Yes.
never see what your team can do until you get out of the way.
Yep.
So,
We have that
um,
same conversation, and he often says, if I'm still here, then you guys you don't have that stress, you don't have that worry, it's not the same as you just going in and making the decisions day to day. You can rely on me more.
yep, yep. And you do, because by default that's the comfort zone, so you kind of have to get people used to making decisions on their own and figuring it out. And yeah, so it's good. And he sometimes doesn't even warn us when he's not going to be here. He'll just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm taking an extra day, sorry, figure it out. So it's good. It's really good, and I think it's a positive. He's always available if you need him, but that's the key, is we need to not need him.
Right. And some of it is the other side where you make the decisions, but you can be overruled when he's still there.
Oh yeah.
So you can go through this whole planning session and figure out exactly what it is what you want to do and what you think makes sense. And then next thing you know, none of that made sense. And it's
Yep.
all out the window anyway. So
Yeah, I have a lot to learn. So
yeah,
I definitely make poor decisions all the time, but that's okay.
this guy too. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Scott Peters is joining us, and he says that it looks like they're back in the office. You're back in the office. You've been in the office for quite some time now.
Yeah, the shop stayed here the whole time, obviously. The sales and engineering and overhead team were working remotely until the first week of June. So we've
Yeah.
been back since June. And every week we add a little bit more interaction back into our lives. Last week we had a big old party,
I saw that.
and
That looked awesome.
it was so much fun. We are having a really awesome year. And not just in sales, like we're doing great in sales revenue, but also in our ability to hit deliveries. And we're still growing and improving and flexing. And we've had a really rough year so far, as you know, other than just COVID. So we
Yeah.
wanted to come together and celebrate as a company, and we are doing our monthly summer cookout. So we just kind of partnered that with a Yankee swap, a company wide 42-person Yankee swap.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a really good time.
I like it. I'm glad that you guys are getting being able to get back to that thing that you were normally doing. You know, we had our first employee team picnic last month at the end of the month, and it was so good to get everybody back
Yeah,
to just that, not even normalcy. I hate that word now, normal. It's just so boring. But just being able to have lunch together and
yeah,
be outside, and people sitting at picnic tables, a little bit more spread out than we typically would be. But and it's just burgers and brats, and everybody
yep,
seemed really, really happy with being able to get back to doing that again.
yeah. We had um people are used to it. They'll just sit four to a table, and normally you'd sit like six or seven, but we're
Yeah.
just sitting four, and we're outside, and instead of everybody serving themselves, somebody serves. And for the most part, it is so widespread, the use of masks in the Northeast, that it's not even, I don't even notice anymore. So,
Yeah.
and I'd prefer it that way, because when I was annoyed and irritated with them, it was like an inconvenience. And now we've all gotten so used to them that sometimes I'll find myself sitting at my desk where I don't need to be wearing a mask, and I'll still have it on. So,
Then you're in a way different spot than we are.
yeah. So how is it out there?
Um, there's a big push for everybody to have masks. If you go into stores, you're supposed to have masks. But here in the shop, nobody, one or two people have them on. But for the most part, we're open. We'll probably get some hater feedback on that, but I just kind of think it is what it is right now. And we're all comfortable. It's not like I'm making a mandate that says you can't wear masks, and you can do what you feel comfortable doing. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're respecting our employees and our team and the customers that come in here. If they want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. I'm not going to judge them. That's their thing. But
Yes.
and there's so much of that we can just go down rabbit trails forever. But
Yes.
who's here? Dielectric Manufacturing is joining us on YouTube. They said they're going to be jumping in and out, so hopefully they'll have some questions or some feedback for us. And Heather Sukup, who is actually our children's ministry person at our church, is listening with us. Well,
Awesome.
that's cool. Thanks, Heather. Thanks for joining us. So one thing that we're going through, this is like, why haven't we been doing Chat and Chow? Because we've been slammed busy, and not slammed busy with work. We've actually been slow in that regard. So if you are a mold maker and you have some work that you need to send out, we would love to look at your polishing and things like that. But I'm not going to do a whole advertising pitch. But for me, where I've been busy is we've been working through Traction and trying to implement Traction into our business. And that has monopolized our time.
Yes. It does that.
Yeah. And you guys implemented that full-fledged, right?
Yeah. So we implemented that fully probably 2 years ago, and we used it extremely actively for about a year and a half. And then towards the end of last year, we kind of were reestablishing what that looked like. COVID happened. So we have really been, I wouldn't say completely out of it, but we weren't 100% the way we were utilizing it before. We're probably about 50-50 now. There's some things that have been implemented across the company that I don't think we can ever get rid of.
Yeah. And I think that's good though, right? Because you go all in, and then you kind of scale back some things. But I'm assuming you're still doing the leadership meetings and accountability and giving people numbers, and there's so much to go over. And I think that was part of what was intimidating for us, is for step one, get everybody to read the book. And I knew I wouldn't be able to do that. So these Mondays where you and I would typically be talking, we had our leadership team upstairs, and we were listening to the book together. We would do chapter by chapter, and then when that chapter was over, we would talk about it. We have not started going over our VTO or our seats or anything yet, because the first step was get through the book and make sure that everybody's still on board.
And that you are speaking the same language. We actually,
Right.
And I wish I could tell you that we breezed through it, but Kylie's listening in, and Kylie can tell you we spent 20 or way more hours just getting into it, because
Right.
there's so much to establish, and the key is that you all have to get on the same page, and that's what's going to be most important for your company, is trying to get all of those stakeholders all on the same page, speaking the same language.
Yeah.
um, we took one whole 4-hour meeting just to debate definitions. So how did you interpret this in the book? Because we know that we're all different personality styles, and sometimes we'll waste a whole meeting just debating that definition. So we committed to getting that done ahead of time.
Yeah. So Scott Peters wants to know, what is Traction? Traction is a book by, what's his name? Wickman. It's by Wickman. I don't remember his first name. Sorry,
I'm
Scott.
so bad at that too. Gino.
Gino Wickman. That's right. So Traction is a book about how to run your business. It uses the entrepreneurial operating system, and I hate that word because I can never say it. And it's a way to give everybody in your company accountability and numbers and metrics and things to hit, and make sure that you're running things smoothly and with the ultimate goal of the company in mind, right? I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's an operating system. So it's
Yep.
a management system, but the key is that it gives visibility to everything, and it breaks it down into vision, which is where you want to go, and then traction, which is what the book is based on, is what are the actual physical steps that you have to take in order to get there. And it gives you this whole wide array of tools to operate as a business in the traction of how are you
Right.
going to get to that 10-5 year vision.
And one of the things that we've been doing for the last year and a half, because I read the book a long time ago and you and I have talked about it, was we've been doing our leadership meetings with the heads of each department as an L10, but not totally as an L10. And an L10 is just like a meeting level 10. So you want to have a good meeting every time. So it's just a level 10 meeting. And the way that they do that and break it down is just so conducive to running business.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just going around and having everybody give a report about their department, which could take 5 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how much they have to say, and everybody else is falling asleep. This follows a very good structure of, a segue where you're sharing an accomplishment, where everybody in the room is sharing an accomplishment that's personal and business related, so that you're bringing in some personal life stuff as well, but we're not dwelling on it. And then you look at a
Yeah.
scorecard, which is your 10 to 15 or 7 to 15 most important numbers that you need to know each week, so that you know that you're staying on schedule. You go over 90-day goals and where you are with that, customer and employee headlines, what's happening with your team and your customers, and then the to-dos you have to do over the last 2 weeks. And then the biggest one is issues.
Yep.
And like with any business or organization, the issues is the biggest thing that will hold you back.
It's usually pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah. And the problem that I found with issues is people don't want to hurt other people's feelings. So they tend to not bring up issues and then wonder why things don't get better.
Yeah. So we were lucky because we have our challenge matrix, which you've seen when you visited. We are bringing up problems constantly. So we're really
Yeah.
great at pointing out the challenges. The traction has given us an opportunity to strategically implement solutions,
Right.
because when you see something repeated and it is now critical to your success, is it a rock? Who is taking that on? And kind of making sure you're monitoring them in a more consistent manner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I will say that one of the biggest drawbacks to us being kind of away from utilizing it as frequently as we used to is we just came together, and a bunch of us in leadership gave ourselves reviews, and we all said, I need my rocks. I don't know what my
Right.
most important things are. And when you don't have that, it can really make your days seem not relevant, because
Right.
you're working and you're getting a lot done, but you need to know, what am I striving for this quarter, and how am I going to impact the company? And so that's what's really been great about it. And I think as any small business, that if you came from, like, I've worked in a large organization, so they usually have some type of strategic structure and
Right.
operating system. But for most tool builders and small businesses like ours, there isn't. Usually the person leading doesn't have a business degree.
Right.
They haven't worked in a big, corporate organization. So managing a business is just make enough money, get enough work, keep people happy,
That's it.
don't get sued, like
Yep.
it's some of those
Yep.
basics, but not necessarily, and for forever, the vision lived in my dad's head. And so
Yep.
Traction has given us a way to take that and make a plan that can be executed by other people.
Yep. And that's a perfect way to say it. Both of our fathers, that's why we get along so well, right? They both started this thing from nothing. And, for us at Alliance, it was a small polishing shop, and it's grown into something that is serving some really large organizations and customers and helping to make some awesome products. Well, along the way, we have to grow and change the way that we're doing things, or we're going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And, to your point about, your rocks, which are just 90-day goal, tangible things. What is the most important thing that you need to get done this quarter so that you can achieve your year-end goals?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have those, one of my favorite things that they say in the book over and over again is if everything is important, nothing is important. And so you don't know what to focus on. And
Yep.
And by setting those priorities, okay, I need to get this done. If I don't get this done in 90 days, I got some explaining to do.
Yep.
This stuff needs to wait, or I need to find some other time, or I need to get rid of something else. And that's kind of what I had to look at myself with us doing the chat and chows. As much as I love them and I love engaging with, Rachel just joined us on Facebook. As much as I love engaging with Rachel and Dielectric and you and Kylie and Scott and all the people, I set myself some rocks that I need to accomplish. And that needs to take priority because that's what we decided was the most important thing in the business. So
good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That makes me so happy to hear.
I'm trying.
And don't forget one thing with Traction, and I think all kind of books and operating systems that are out there, is make it your own.
Yes.
You don't have to use the template that they provide.
Right.
We came up with the Westminster Direction Organizer. Why instead of a VTO? Because
Sure.
we have a direction that the whole company is trained on. So let's put it into an organized format and call it the Westminster Direction Organizer.
Right.
We, there's certain things that we completely like textbook utilize, but there's a lot of things that we adapted to utilize. Well, what's the environment and infrastructure that we already have that can help us serve in this area? So.
And that VTO, if you're listening, I mean, I'm not going to tell you the whole book. I'm not going to read you the whole thing.
You should read it.
Yeah, you should definitely read it. I was trying to look for it because I know I have it here. But the VTO is just, it helps you identify your core values, your mission, who you are as an organization, and where you want to go. Because if you don't know those things, you can't do anything. You're just stuck in this quagmire of what do we do and how do we go forward. So all that to say, we listened to I think it's like 7 hours of a book on tape together, staring at each other while we were listening to it. And it's really awkward if you've ever listened to a book on tape with people in an office setting.
No,
there's nothing to watch.
Never done that.
So you're just looking at each other, and they I don't know how they make that better. But one of my rocks that I'm excited about is we're launching an online store for Alliance. So with the 6 divisions that we have become pretty accustomed to knowing what tools work, what doesn't work, and things like that. So our store is going to feature the things that we have in-house, so that if somebody asks, what kind of polishing stones do you get? Or where do you get your diamond compound? Now they have a resource. We don't want to compete with the Borides and the Geschwins and the the big players. That's not the goal. But this is just a direct source so people can get all the stuff that they need, that we use, that we know works. So that's
awesome.
hopefully going to be launched August 1st, and then products will be added as we go along. Yeah. Yeah.
How's that going? What's the status?
We've got a lot of products up right now. The site is still behind the scenes, but I think that we're going to launch August 1st. We're not going to have the whole product offering, but the site will be up, and people will be able to go there and they will be able to buy products. Yeah, it's very exciting. Like I said,
Excited to see it.
Yeah, it's something that we've been talking about for years. And a way to create more visibility for ourselves and for the partner companies that we use. We're going to have some products from Progressive. We're going to have a shared product that Scott Phipps has, those rhino feet. You'll be able to get the rhino feet on our site because we love them. And so, excuse me, the things that we love and use are the things that we want to sell.
Yes. That's funny. We're literally working on a strategic partnerships page for our website, just kind of like highlighting the people that we strategically align with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's important. That's really awesome that you guys are doing that. I'm excited to see it. And most importantly, I'm excited that you have rocks.
Yeah. Oh, we've got rocks. So that's been fun. The other thing that we're working on is we've always made our own diamond compound for polishing. We don't buy it from anywhere. We have our own ingredients, our own process, and we make it. And we've recently started tinkering in the lab, and we've developed a new product that we are calling Black Diamond. That is, it's 100% natural ingredients in the diamond, so it's better for food, beverage, medical products, and it has a much better lubricity, so it has better release. It's really cool. It's we didn't know that you'd be able to see
a
a
busy
difference
over there.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of playing and tinkering and changing while we had the time to do these things.
That's what you got to
do. So it's going to be interesting to see how people react. Like, I would love to do sample parts for you guys of like, not something that's gonna, I don't know, not run is not the right word, but if we had just steel and we polished one in one way and one in the other way, if you could tell the difference in your parts or in your products, in your process or whatever. But yeah, we've had
I might have a mold we could do that on.
We've had a bit going on.
Well, that is awesome. It brings me back to when COVID first started and a lot of people were slow, and we were talking about, that's an opportunity. Don't waste that opportunity. You don't get that. The next time you're busy, hopefully you got better, because you don't have an opportunity to do it when you're, pedal to the metal getting work done.
Yep. And you don't know when that next opportunity is going to come.
No. We had about a 3 to 4 week period, and we got so much accomplished. And we're now back into the thick of things. But luckily, especially as a sales and engineering team, we made a lot of improvements over the last few weeks. So
yeah, I had a good I was texting back and forth with MJ last week, just checking in, seeing how things were going. And it sounds like you guys are busy.
We had a great start to the year. We spoke about that.
Yep.
We were in a really good place. We were very fortunate that when COVID hit, we were already on track and doing very strong for the year. And yeah, we just had a few big projects come through that are going to carry us through for a little while longer. So yeah, we're on track to have our record year. So
that's awesome.
But more importantly, I want a record year, but I want it to be a valuable record year.
Sure.
With taking care of our customers, getting better, watching our budgets improve.
Yeah, that's all part of the traction stuff that we were taking a look at. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much to say there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and depending, some organizations are set up for mass scale. And once you have a really good system, that's when you go and you can grow and grow and grow, and your margins are large enough that you can do that. But we've really committed to, we don't want to grow at the expense of what we have going here, which is a business model that allows us to constantly get better.
Right.
And when you have to cut corners and really sharpen your pencils, it can be tough to build in some of that time that enables us to be the company we are. So,
and Scott Peters just asked, or he says, this is a chance to work on the business instead of in the business. How much time do you guys spend working on it versus in it?
So as a company, we spend the first 45 minutes of the day, every single employee working on the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's utilizing things like communicating with your team, addressing challenges, working on DMAICs, like improvements, not just getting machines up and running and going. And so every day. And then, you know, strategically, my dad and I probably about 3 to 4 hours a week on working. And then, I mean, I could total up the hours of people like Kylie and Jason and
right.
But the whole organization, I mean, one of our engineers, Seth, between him and Spencer, two of our engineers, they implemented over 10 improvements in a week.
That's so awesome.
And they're not just like, oh, I labeled the toilet paper. It's literally like we created a whole new document so that when a customer, whether it's a new company or a new engineer in that company, works with us for the first time, they created a presentation to teach them our process. Hey, this is what you need to come prepared with. When I say we're scheduling this meeting, this is what we go over in that meeting. This is the timeline in between. This is some of the information I need. And that came out of a challenge. And those are the quality of, improvements being implemented.
Yeah. And all those processes, that's again, part of the traction book is documenting and processing, coming up with processes for everything that you have so that, like you said, when somebody gets onboarded or they move into a new position, you're not teaching them from square one. You're just able to kind of pick up and go.
That was one of the best things that came out of traction for us is we put a huge importance on our SOPs and MOPs. And so now every time an improvement made, so frequently you make an improvement and you just make it and you don't document it. And then when you go to train someone, they're trying to catch up with, okay, I see the baseline and all these extras. And so now the first thing, right when somebody rolls out of training, they've already gone to our quality manager and said, hey, I have this improvement. It needs to be implemented in the process. And we're not rolling out a presentation. We say, go look at the process.
Scott says, you mentioned customers, but we have to remember that we have both internal and external customers, and as managers, we need to satisfy both. You guys are some of the best at that. Just based on when your dad, when I was there and your dad would say, your customer is not necessarily the person outside this building. Your customer is the next person that you give that piece of equipment to, or that you're doing that job for.
Yeah. So as a company, we focus solely on our internal customers. So our belief is that if you only focus on whoever your internal customer is and understanding and exceeding their expectations, the end result is that your external customer will receive exceptional customer service. So it's our job to make sure that we set our design team up for success. That doesn't mean pass it over and say good luck. It means what would make your life easier?
Right.
What is your expectation? What do you need from me? And then let me create a process that sets you up for success. It means accepting feedback and getting better. And then if they do that for job processing and job processing to the floor and, the CNC line for tool makers to molding, if you pass that throughout and everybody's working to exceed expectations, be on budget and on time.
Well, and it's just like what we talked about, how we have to set up a call with your Caffeinate and Connect with your team so that we can get on the same page and create a process that when you guys need something polished or finished, what does that process look like between Westminster and Alliance instead of just, we need this at the 11th hour, which is going to happen. I mean, it's just inevitable. That's what's going to happen. But we know that, so we can kind of come up with that process on what that's going to look like together. So it's not us going, this is how we need it, and you going, well, that doesn't work for us.
Right. Is it the moment we know polish and it's not going to be something that we can do here, are we calling you earlier in the process? Are we calling you much earlier in the job? There's a lot of things that can be improved. And I think you just have to have that two-way communication.
Yeah. How is live stream church going for you? I'm shifting gears. Sorry, I'm shifting gears.
Oh, you're good. It's been good. They just started last weekend, so we do watch parties, and the mask thing is a thing, but unfortunately, we're not a church, so we can't follow what the state says a church can do. We have to follow what a business can do.
Gotcha.
So we have still been watching from home. However, a group of people did start meeting outside. Like they set up a projector outside so we can start doing that.
Yep. Our church put up, the best way I can describe it is a circus tent. And we fit quite a few people under there. I think Heather would probably be able to tell me a better number. And Heather and Ron are doing like a whole children's program on Sunday mornings so that the kids have something. And then we have, our typical service underneath the big top. It was hot as all get out this weekend, but we were able to meet together and do that. And, it's amazing the stuff that has to go into that I don't think people understand.
Yes.
I think that goes without saying with anything, from an outside person looking in. You think you go to church, they're up there, they do our worship music, they preach, I go home. It's not that easy. I mean, I my friend is the IT director over there. So I've volunteered my time, and we're getting there at 7:30 in the morning to run all the electricity, hang all the TVs, run all the power, do all the stuff. And then again, tear it all down. And, no, you don't realize what really goes into bringing that to people.
Yeah. So are you guys limited? Are you able to meet in person inside? It's just that you're very limited to how many people can be in there.
I'm not sure I'm not privy to that information. I know Heather just told me that the best attendance that she's heard that we've had both under and around the tent was 500 people. So it's a big tent. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. We have a major tent, and then we actually have like an auxiliary tent on the side where we have other people, and then other people bring their tents, and we do our best to distance. People do wear masks. So it's been a thing, but it's been an exciting thing.
Yeah. And I think that's what matters, is just do what it takes to give people the opportunity.
Right.
And, the way that our pastor has said it is there's going to be some people who don't feel comfortable coming, and that's okay. We're going to continue to give you 4 times during the day that you can live stream from home and turn up the music. We're going to cater to everyone because it's going to take some time to figure out what this looks like. But in the meantime, we got to do our best to keep giving people the experience that they crave.
And Heather says that we are still limited to the state of Illinois, which to her understanding is 50 inside, which is why we're committed to being outside till at least October.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I know that here our watch parties are going to be outside for the foreseeable future, only because to be inside requires masks. And not everybody agrees with it, and it's really tough to do that when you're not operating in your own place.
Yeah, and you don't want to get in fights with people about that. That's not if you're coming together for church and you're going to get in arguments over masks, that's not the priority. That's not where our head space should be for that moment. And it's so you've had some good messages, some good teaching, some good lessons.
Yes, they do a summer series we're in right now, and it's like guest pastors.
Okay.
And the messages have been incredible. They've been some of the young pastors from the church. They've been pastors from other churches. Yesterday was all about being in a posture of prayer and being like ready to accept what's the good news that's coming.
Yeah.
So, you can't say I want it to get better and get in that mindset of like it's never going to get better. You have to be ready to receive. And if you see even just that small little rain cloud, know that that's coming to break up your drought.
Right.
But you could also see that small rain cloud and easily say, that's not going to do anything.
Or on top of it go, and now it's raining.
Right. So and they've been really great. We've had a bunch of Black pastors who have come on and spoken directly to some of the challenges that the world is currently facing. It's been amazing. They've been really, and as much as I love my pastor, sometimes it's just so nice to just get another perspective.
Yeah, totally.
It's really nice. So
that's why, to piggyback off one of the things you said, our pastor at our church, EFCCL, Pastor Jay, he always says you have to know and accept the bad news before you can understand and accept the good news. So you have to see the bad before the good even makes sense, because otherwise it's just good and you don't. It's just good. It's fine the way it is, but you have to realize that bad news first, which is something that I don't think people like to recognize. Nobody likes the bad. They just want the good. Just give me the good. And then the other thing you said about having that different perspective on it's good to have that, that new perspective when you're getting teaching. And I think that's why I like Sunday so much with Jack, because we'll go to church and then him and I will watch church in the evening, and the messages are both good and they're delivered totally different. And, on one side, we're getting application. On one side, we're getting just the word and the breakdown of what that is. And there's some application to life, but it's more, this is what it says and follow that. So I love being able to have those different ways to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a great way to start my week. It really is a great way to start the week. So,
yeah, the one that we listened to last night, they were talking about how not everything's going to be on your schedule. You can schedule as much as you want to, but God doesn't really care about your schedule. And, he may even say, is this a good time? No. Cool. I'm going to do it now. Because if it's not a good time, it's more impactful in your life. And you're going to recognize it so much more. So, Sundays are so good.
I'm taking a leadership class with them now.
Okay.
And it's on Monday. So it's my Sundays and Mondays.
Nice.
And it is insane the amount of overlap the church has with our business organization.
Totally. Only because you allow it, though.
Well, they use DISC.
Okay.
3 of the books that we've read have been books that we require our leaders to read. So, I mean, but it's at its core, it's leadership, and it's leadership focused on loving people. What
are the books you require people to read?
There's Start with the Why, Crucial Conversations, Transformational Leadership, Good to Great.
Yep.
I don't know. I could take you over to the library and show you the 50 million books.
Well,
what I feel so bad for is there's like, when people come here, especially with experience, we're like, I hope you like reading. And when they say they don't, we're like, this is awkward. Do you like listening?
You can get the book on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Or book on audio book, not book on tape.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that anymore.
Same thing. I understood you.
No, it's for us, it's Wednesdays. It's Wednesdays and Sundays. So Wednesdays, we're part of our Nexus youth group and Awana program for the kids and all of those sorts of things. So it's a good break in the middle of the week to get some more clarity and focus. So that's good. It's good. Good for you for being on that leadership team.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't say no. It's an hour and a half of class and about an hour of homework a week.
Yeah.
Can't say no.
No.
You can always get better.
You can always get better. The minute you don't think you can. Oh.
Yep.
That's like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Yep. So it was good, and it's been really applicable in all aspects of my life. So
good. We are going to open up. Let's see. Is there anybody else here? Heather's still here. because typically it's prayer time because we've gone over. We've been good. We're only 10 minutes over. I'm going to stop coming up with topics for today, and we can try and do this more regularly again and get back on our regular scheduled program.
Yes.
So, Hillary, what do we need to pray for this week?
I think the concept of just grace. So we talked about masks a lot, and I think that the world, if they could just practice giving everybody a little grace and minimizing the judgment, I think we could work through some stuff hopefully a bit quicker. So I think everybody could use it.
I think that sums it up so perfectly. With everybody on any social media channel is yelling at each other about the littlest thing, instead of trying to show some understanding and grace. So I think that's a good place to take us out today. So, all right. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time with my friend and my other friends who are watching across the country, the world, wherever you would bring this message. I pray that it would bring them a little bit of happiness and joy and hope and comfort, and also some education for their business so they can continue to grow for themselves and for their employees and their team and their families and the people around them. And they can just encourage each other. We pray for grace for everybody that we come into contact with, that we would have grace for them in their situations, and that they would have grace for us, because we don't know what each others are going through or experiencing or feeling. So just help us to give that like you would. We pray for safety for our country and understanding and wisdom for our leadership. And we just pray that you would be with us, watch over us, and continue to make us better. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hillary, we made it through.
We did it.
It's been a while. Are we doing this again next week? Are we committing? Are we going every other week? What do we want to do?
Every other week. Let's do that, because we know we can stick to that.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit more attainable right now. So we'll do every other week, and we'll make it.
It's also my bachelorette this weekend, so Monday might be.
Maybe we should do Monday.
I might be a little tired.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing about your bachelorette party. Not too many details, but just the good stuff.
It'll probably be, margaritas and dancing.
Yeah.
In a cabin, so we're COVID friendly.
Nice. With masks on, and
we have matching masks, so yep.
Awesome. You're all set. All right, friend. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy your weekend, and let's schedule that caffeinate and connect.
Next week we'll do that.
You got it.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I just want to thank you again for watching the Manufacturing Alliance Chat and Chow. It means a lot that you would give a little bit of your time and spend it with Hillary and I today, and just talk about traction or EOS or what you're going through in your life and your business. And hopefully we can bring a little bit of excitement and joy and happiness and understanding, and maybe just a little escape, so you're not going through all those things by yourself. If you enjoyed the show at all, please feel free to share it on. Tell somebody else to watch it next time. We're going to be posting on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Instagram and all those places on upcoming shows. And if you'd like to be on Chat and Chow, let us know. We'd love to have you on and hear your story and find out what's going on in your life. So for myself, for Hillary, take care and God bless.